Even with all the compact Chinese cars coming to Europe, the Dacia Spring is still the cheapest electric car money can buy. Well, at least here in the Netherlands. And it has got an update. So, how is it now? Because the previous version, even though it was lovable, was a little bit dull. My name is Bastiaan and welcome to Electric on Wheels. Don't be fooled, because this is of course not the base version of the car. The base version looks like this. No, this is the extreme versions with all options available. But I have to say, compare this exterior to that of the previous version, and this one is so much better. This is just a fun little car to look at, if you ask me. And even though it is a compact car, the boot is not bad actually. It is 308 liters with the seats up and 1000 liters with the seats down. I mean, that makes this car almost as practical in terms of boot size as the Volvo EX30. I have to say though that the rear seat does fall down as a whole, so it is not split. And as an option you can even get a frunk. I mean, some cars costing 3 times as much don't even have this. As standard, the Dacia Spring comes with a 45 horsepower motor that does 0 to 100 in 19 seconds. Yes, you hear me right, 19 seconds. But for €1,000 more you can get the 65 horsepower motor, and that one does it in 13.5 seconds. And I am driving that 65 horsepower motor, and my recommendation is to always get this motor. Because, well, it is faster, and 2, it is a little bit more efficient. And I know 13.5 seconds still sounds slow and sluggish, but until 80 kilometers per hour it actually picks up pretty well. It is only above that it becomes a little bit slower, and above 100 kilometers per hour, yeah, the pace is gone, But all Dacia Springs are limited to 125 kilometers per hour. So that were the numbers. How does it drive? Well, like a city car. The steering is light with no feeling whatsoever, and the suspension is on the comfortable side. Also, because it is a cheaper car, the noise isolation is not the best, and therefore when driving with a higher speed it can get pretty noisy in here. And this car only weighs 950 kilos, which is extremely light for an electric car. But because of that, when it is windy outside, you can feel the wind pulling on the car. So yes, you can drive this car on the highway, but the car feels most at home when driving on B roads or in the city. But if you are driving in the city and you are going over a speed bump, don't do it too fast, because you will get launched into the air because of the short wheelbase. But what is really handy in that city is that the turning circle of this car is really small. Then the rear seats. The seat in front of me is in my typical driving position. I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters and my knees are in the seat. I can shove my feet under the seat in front of me though. My head is barely touching the roof. Yeah, let's be honest, this place is not meant for adults. I can sit here just fine for a short while, but again, this place is not meant for adults. Sitting here with 3 people is not recommended and is not even legal, because there are only 2 seat belts. Besides that, there is nothing here. And to show you the rest of the interior, I have to go to the good, the lovely, the bad and the ugly. The old interior was pretty dull to say the least, but now look at this interior, so much better. They actually put some effort into it and the result I like. Of course, everything is still hard plastic, but hey, you get what you pay for. Just like modern Renaults, the Dacia Spring has a button on the dashboard to easily turn off the mandatory safety systems. And you can configure in the infotainment system which system you want to be turned off. Oh, and the Dacia Spring now has cruise control as standard, and this is so much better when driving on the highway. Not everyone will be able to find a good driving position in this car, because the steering wheel is only adjustable in height and the seat is not adjustable in height. That means if you are really tall, you are more looking at the roof instead of looking at the road. Normal charging can be done with a maximum speed of 3.5 kilowatts. So charging from 0 to 100% will take you around 8 hours. Fast charging is a €600 option, but since it is only available on the 65 horsepower motor, it is actually a €1,600 option. The maximum speed is 30 kilowatts and charging from 10 to 80% will take you around 50 minutes. But the good thing is the car does have support for vehicle to load. When I first got into the Dacia Spring, I was trying to figure out how to turn on the climate control. And I was like, what the frick? How hard can it be? Well, it turns out there is no climate control, there is only a manual air conditioning. Yeah, sometimes I am a little bit spoiled. But anyway, the rest of the interior, as I have already said, massive improvement over the old one. But besides that, there isn't a whole lot to say. There aren't a lot of features. I mean, it is a cheap car after all. You do have the Dacia U-clip though, which is a mounting mechanism for optional accessories like this cup holder and this lamp, and you do have some clips on this as well. But again, besides that, yeah, I don't really know what to say though. I do have to say, cubby space is really good. Your door pockets are pretty big for such a small car. You have some place here in the dashboard where you can put stuff, and your glove box is really deep. What I can say about the interior of the Dacia Spring is that in the base version you don't even have an infotainment system. No, you can download an app for your phone, then mount your phone here where the infotainment system is now, connect the app on your phone with the car, and then with your phone you can control your media, but also the settings of the car. I am really curious on how this works, but unfortunately I couldn't find a video or anything. But if you pay a little bit more, then well, you can have this infotainment system that you see here. I have to say, it is a simple system, but because of that it is also intuitive and fast. Only the boot times are sometimes really long. And you do see the two USB-C ports over here, but you only get those if you have this infotainment system. Otherwise you only have this 12-volt socket over here. The WLTP range of the Dacia Spring is 225 kilometers. Can you reach that in the real world? Well, it depends. If you drive mainly on the highway, then no, you can't, not even in spring summer. No, when driving on the highway, this car is not that much more efficient than some bigger cars. But to be fair, if you drive mainly on the highway, then you probably shouldn't buy this car anyway. If you drive on mixed roads or on B roads, then yes, I do think you can reach the WLTP range in spring-summer conditions, of course. And if you drive in a more urban environment in the city, you can do more than the WLTP range, but to be fair again, most electric cars can do more than the WLTP range when driving in the city. Besides that, this car does not have a liquid-cooled battery, so that means in spring-summer, if you fast charge a lot on a single day, the car might rapid gate, and the navigation does not plan charging stops when your destination exceeds your range. Alright, time to shut down the video. And the funny thing is, to shut down the car, you actually have to pull a physical handbrake. I mean, the last time I have seen this in an electric car was in the previous version of the Dacia Spring. Anyway, how happy does this car make me? Does it make me sad, neutral, smile, or grin? Well, this car makes me grin. I mean, it is the cheapest EV money can buy. What is there not to like? We need more cars like these. But besides that, I think it is just a fun little car, and I have to say, I love it. And that was the review of the Dacia Spring. Thank you a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And then as always, to be continued.